going towards the first turn that it looked like it was going to be a little bit tight. Phil Morris electing to come a little further to the right off gate 3 in blue for the Aces in this one, and off the outside in yellow for the Panthers. It's Niels Christian Iversen. Referee lets the tapes away pretty quickly in that one, and Jason Crump is the first to jump. But Phil Morris getting a fantastic run around the second bend there to dive underneath Ryan Sullivan in green and get alongside Niels Christian Iversen in yellow. And again, Phil getting a good run off the fourth bend, a little too close for comfort there, really having to knock it on the head before he ran into the side of Niels Christian Iversen. And Phil Morris again getting a fantastic run off that second bend. Cursory move of Andy Smith there in 2005. That was pretty much Smithy's staple, but Phil Morris starting to take a leaf out of Smudge's book and really closing the door on Niels Christian Iversen, who was trying very hard to dive underneath Phil Morris there. And Phil, with just over a lap and a half to go, starting to come under some pressure from the Peterborough Panthers. Niels Christian Iversen trying to get a big run around the outside, but Phil Morris gets a good run off the fourth bend to let the bike run out wide to get himself up by the fence. And Niels Christian Iversen made a bit of a mess of the first and second bends there on the last lap. That allowed him to come under some pressure from his teammate, but at the moment Phil Morrison runs for the line to take a big 5-1 for the Bellevue Aces. Jason Crump in a world of his own out front there, and a race of his own. Never really needed to worry about Phil Morris, but just give Phil enough room to get himself back into second place. And Phil Morris gesticulated to Jason Crump to go around and take the applause. Phil wanted to make his way back to the pits in a hurry, maybe some sort of problem he needs to attend to. Great effort from Phil Morris to get a 5-1 for the Bellevue Aces, but the man out front all the way in red for the Bellevue Aces in that one was Jason Crump. And Jason Crump just coming to have a quick look at gate 2, and that would give me an idea that possibly Crumpy is in fact going off gate 2 in his next outing, which is heat 11. But Jason Crump makes his way back to the pits with another 3 points for a win for the Aces. Heat 7 and a win for the rider in red, Jason Crump, for the Bellevue Aces. Jason's winning time 61 seconds. Second in blue, Phil Morris, and third in yellow, Niels Christian Iversen. Another 5-1 to the Bellevue Aces there in Heat 7. The Aces now have 27 points, with the Panthers 12 behind on 15. Heat 8, and off the inside in blue, Phil Morris comes out to have 2 on the trot for the Bellevue Aces. He goes from gate 1 in Heat 8. Gate 2 in yellow is John Armstrong for the Peterborough Panthers. Gate 3 in red for the Bellevue Aces is Joe Screen. And off the outside from gate 4, Ulrich Ostergaard takes a ride for the Panthers in green from gate 4. Ulrich Ostergaard so far been quite a busy young man for the Panthers through the course of this meeting, but only managing to pick up 1 point. And again, Ulrich just tapping the tapes with that front wheel. He's been through the tapes twice so far tonight, keeping the starting marshal and his assistant busy. Hopefully the tapes get up, and they do get up. Very, very even start there from all the riders, but the rider in blue, Phil Morris, having done enough to get a second place behind his team captain. Jason Crump gets a good start from gate 1 in that one, and he comes off the fourth bend in first place. But John Armstrong looking pretty quick in second place as Joe Screen dives around the outside of John Armstrong. Joe Screen in red, with John Armstrong in yellow. Joe making a really long back straight and getting his wheels in line very wide, coming off the second bend, and gets a good run down the back straight to get himself up into second place. But Phil Morris in blue at the moment for the Bellevue Aces, looking pretty comfortable out front, just having a quick look over his shoulder to see that Joe Screen is currently occupying second place behind his reserve in the form of team partner Phil Morris. And Joe just having a quick cursory glance over his left shoulder to see that John Armstrong in yellow for the Panthers is still chasing down the Aces pairing. But at the moment it looks like that, barring any mechanical problems, the Aces pairing are good for a 5-1 in Heat 8, and Phil Morris getting 2 paid wins on the trot. A paid win behind his team captain Jason Crump in Heat 7, and then a win per se in Heat 8. Phil getting a great gate from gate 1 in that one, and Joe Screen not quite getting the gate, but doing enough to get around the second bend and finding himself in third place, and then chasing John Armstrong down over the course of a lap and a half. And those two just discussing a little bit of tactics in terms of team riding. I don't think we've seen Joe Screen and Phil Morris having to team ride for a 5-1 before this season for the Aces, but Phil Morris having a great meeting for the Bellevue Aces. Wizard definitely not had his chips tonight. He's really buoyant mood as he makes his way back to the pits with a big 3 points in his pocket for a win in Heat 8. Heat 8.